As I opened myself up for your reading, I did so on Friday. That was the 6th at 2:19 p.m. I was driving on the road, and at first, as I was driving on the road, I have some notes here. My guide, Kathy, who died on 4/23, I saw her death date on a license plate. Then I immediately had my eyes drawn to a rough road sign. Then my eyes went to a little boy in a stroller with an adult female pushing it. They were on a sidewalk. So a type of path is what came to mind. Then I saw steel plate on roadway, which reminded me of like an obstacle in the roadway, something a little bumpy, something you need to go slow through. You have to slow down for. Also another type of path. And then immediately after that, I saw 686, which is a number that reminds me of the day that I was on this journey to the ocean, and there were all these storms that came in, extreme winds, hurricane winds, a wind funnel off the shore in the ocean. Then my eyes were drawn to a graveyard that I was passing. It had Saint Mary labeled on it, which reminded me of Mother Mary. And then I immediately saw the number 585, which reminded me of childhood, a city that I grew up in. And then I just heard frozen childhood, and the item that I saw was a snowflake. And then I saw baby on a license plate, like the actual license plate said baby. The St. Mary, this week since I opened up to that, it was brought to my attention that sometimes a code word for a particular substance, my left ear is ringing, and my right ear is ringing really loud before I even started hitting record. But my left ear is ringing now, which is my message ear. This is my pay attention ear, my right ear. I learned this week that someone, somewhere, I've never heard of this before, that's St. Mary or Mother Mary, I think it's Mother Mary, is like a slang name for particular types of substances. I don't know what kind. I don't think that that's what mattered. So I want to keep that in mind as I go through this reading, that, there may be some level of, this could be a signal of actual substances. It could be a signal of addictive behaviors or obsessive behaviors, things that are unhealthy patterns. It could be like things that are kind of dangerous to work with, or it could just be as light as Mother Mary, or both. I'm just putting that out there right now to start. I'm going to make sure that I let you know that I am doing this reading under the most healthy, best possible energy that I can. That I read for someone's highest good, to help them get to their highest timeline and keep them in line with their divine soul path. I do want to light a candle. If I can get the match to light, there we go. For protection. And light incense. Oh goodness, I believe this one is blue sage that I chose today. Blue seemed to pop out today as well. Like right now my eyes are focused on all the things around me that are blue. Thank you for your purchase, by the way, of this. I hope that this brings you some level of clarity that you are looking to have for your life. Now, the guides that I was presented, the energy in which I was presented, they have asked me to utilize these 4 decks. I am not comfortable with these decks. I like them. They're not ones I usually use. For my comfort, I do have this tarot deck next to me. It's the Lightseer's Oracle. So that if I start to feel like I want to shift over to something I'm more comfortable with, your guides and my guides have agreed that that is an okay safety for me to have, because all 4 of these decks are not ones that I use normally. Now, I do believe in my abilities to communicate with your guides, and I do believe in your guides' abilities to know what message you need to hear. But I feel like that's a part of the message for you too. To do things that you're uncomfortable with, to push yourself a little bit into extremely uncomfortable places, and know that you're going to be okay, and know that you're going to be guided. It's 10:10 right now in my time zone. So we're going to go on this little journey together. I have a feeling that, like some of my other readings have been lately, that it's going to be longer than I am normally giving for a reading like this. Usually I keep these around 10, maybe 15 minutes. So with that, let's take a deep breath. Go into the energy of trust, of knowing, of full faith. For even if only for a moment, let's remove all obstacles from our path. Let's bring in full clarity. And let's remember that we are stronger than we think, than we know, than we're willing to admit to ourselves. That we're more connected than we could ever imagine. And that there are beautiful energies surrounding us that are helpers. And that we accept the helpers that are here for our highest good, that'll help keep us on our path for our highest timeline and our divinely led missions. So I'm going to sit here just for a second. I'm going to ask what it is that your guides would like me to start with. I heard start with the top. Okay, start with the top. And then we'll work our way down. We'll see if that means in order or just what that means. So this is specifically a cat deck. I like to consider this like my Freya deck, the goddess Freya. Her chariot is led by two cats, highly intuitive energy. If we're just talking archetypes alone, then we're talking about someone who's highly in tune with their intuition, has wisdom beyond the like average spiritualist is what I'll say, dedicated to her craft, if you will. So Spirit, what do you have for this beautiful individual in front of me, please? I wanted to have a disclaimer of the little bit that I do know about you. I do know that you have been or recently went through some type of a separation with, what I think I know is that it was someone that you were with for a long time in maybe a type of a legal contract. But that's what I think I know. But I want to put that out there for transparency. And then I also think I know that you have lost a little one in your life. I think it is a son. But that's what I think I know based off of some things that I have seen. But I very intentionally was asked to not dig into that. Like not look for information on that. So I'm going to leave it as just that basic of what I think I know. And sort of smile, I guess, at and give a spiritual nod to that beautiful energy that left your life. I'm getting chills now. Because I do believe that my robot back there just went ding ding, which to me is, a divine indicator as I'm talking about this, of all the times that's going to come through. It's going to come through exactly right now, I guess. but a little smile towards that little energy, that well, big energy, but little one that's no longer here. Um, because I do believe my eyes were brought to some of those things. Ding, ding, again, ding, ding. I do believe that my eyes were brought to that for a reason. And these little indicators through that electronic device feel significant. Whether or not they are, I think, is up to whether you want to take significance from that. I take significance from that. Okay, so our first card coming out is Nine of Wands. I generally know the Nine of Wands as one traditionally where there is a woman weeping. It looks like it's nighttime. Traditional tarot will show her with her hands in her face, like she's crying or screaming or afraid. It's definitely an energy of, nope, that's what's coming to my mind. That's what's coming to my mind. That's not actually what Nine of Wands is. Nine of Wands is a wounded warrior. So this may be a shift that you've come through of where you've been and where you're at. Because while that's coming to my mind, that traditional tarot card, which is actually the Nine of Swords, which is the quickest moving energy, the Nine of Wands that's showing up here would be the second quickest moving energy. So there may be some stability that's been shifting in your life that needs recognition. The massive mental swings, emotional swings that maybe had come to you before in sword-like energy that are now coming to you in fire energy. Instead of air energy, it's fire. It's that next stage. Like you're moving through stages. That's a very interesting thing. There's what looks like this very like wet cat on here. Like cats don't necessarily like water. If you've ever seen a cat like just trying to get out of the water, they're frantic. And so this is a cat that's finally out of the water. So instead of being heavy in that emotion, which is where I was seeing that traditional Nine of Swords tarot card, you're moving through. Oh, I have chills. Ooh, especially on my back, like down the sides right here. All the way down my arms. So I want to read this card. I am hearing yes, read. I don't know if I'm taking more from this deck or not. I heard I'm not at this time. So we're going to go to the Nine of Wands. The positive attributes of it, which I grabbed it in upright. So whether it came out in upright or not, I am being guided to hold it in upright and to read it in upright, the positive end. So the energy attributes of this card are staying strong, allowing time to heal and rest before tackling the next task, staying motivated during the down times. I feel a little bit of like emotion, tears coming to my eyes. Like this energy of I'm so proud of you. I have chills again. Like my arm hairs are starting to stand up with these chills. This energy of I'm so proud of you. I am not asked at this time to label what energy, what guide is bringing this in, other than it's benevolent. And so I'm going to keep it with that. That may be for your trusting sake. It could be for my ability to deliver the message sake. I'm a mother myself, so heavy topic. So this one says it's dedicated to Theobald, which is probably the name of a cat. Exhausted by a long journey, the poor cat fell into the water on the first attempt to cross the rickety bridge. Shivering and wet, Thibault considered his options as the waves seemed to grow into monstrous proportions with every passing moment. The cat took a deep breath and found his center before cautiously taking another step. Whenever I see deep breath in a card, I like to honor that. Thibault focused on his body and maintaining balance as the waves crashed against his legs. He called upon his inner strength to help him persevere against the river current, determined to knock him down. The goal is so close. You can see the end. It is in your view, and because of this, your passion and perseverance may feel especially strong. Perhaps you, like the cat of the Nine of Wands, have made it across a problematic situation, one that may have left you feeling hung out to dry from time to time. Although there may have been setbacks that caused you to pause or consider your next move more carefully, you are well on your way to reaching a successful conclusion. Events from the past that may have left you feeling less than confident will always rise and shake your resolve. Whether it be this challenge or the next, the Nine of Wands is a reminder that with every journey, there will be obstacles. There will be times when the waters are rough as well as smooth. My right ear is ringing, and I'm being reminded of the things that we talked about before this card popped out. The high extreme winds off the shores, the water, right? And the obstacles in the roadway, those rough roads where things may need to slow down for a little bit for you to cross over something, that there may be like warnings or close calls, scares. I don't know the right word for it. I can't get the right word for it. Close call, like something where like you may need to take like the hurricane winds came through on that journey for me, but the place I was staying was okay. The tornado warning came, but it stayed a funnel off on the ocean. It didn't hit land, so it was close but not actually there. It was around me. It was a threat, but it wasn't an actual event. So keeping that in mind, that things may come to try to scare you or shake you, or you may have to slow down for something. But you're going to get through the obstacle. Allow yourself time to rest, but stay on the course, as your momentum will keep the fire within burning. So that sidewalk and that road, those paths, like stay on the path. Feels very significant there. I'm just going to shove these off to the side for now. Where am I going next? So we're going to do this one next, I'm hearing. This one is a very interesting deck. It is a light code energy healing deck, which has been, I don't use it often. Like I really don't use it often. And I do recommend that if, for some reason, someone besides the person this is intended for watches this video, I do recommend that that person pauses and asks if they're meant to see the rest of this reading. Because this deck I only use it when I'm absolutely called to. I think I've used it maybe a dozen times, and I've had it for years now. It's powerful in a very odd way that my human is like, how does that even work? But I won't go into detail of just how powerful this has been and how much it's shifted my own body. But I'm very interested in what card comes out for you. We'll make sure that we use breath for that as well. Okay. We have Mercury on the bottom, which is interesting because I just did a video about paying attention to Mercury. So that may be something for you to look into. I'm not sure if I put it on my YouTube, but I do know that it's on my TikTok account not very far back. Today's February 9th. So it's, a few days back. But Mercury did move into Pisces, and it will be there for the next couple of months, I believe, might be 3. And it will go retrograde on the 26th of February. So paying attention to communication, messages, dreams. Communication in the real world, also from spirit, messages, both in real world and from spirit, as well as your dreams. My left ear is slightly ringing with that. So they want a little bit of a highlight there in the messages from the dreams. The sun at the split. This is the Star Codes Astro Oracle. What is the message that you would like for me to bring out for this individual? Jupiter, abundance coming out. So that may be something that you are seeking, inviting in, maybe a struggle point for you. Definitely something that has been either on your soul, on your heart, on your mind, or all of the above. Reminder that right now we're in winter, and as above, so below, as within, so without. Very much reminds me of this Thoth deck that's coming up here. That's something that's in the Emerald Tablets by Thoth the Atlantean. And essentially, like, what we see above is also what we will see below, and what we feel within is what we will have manifest on the outside, and what we have on the outside can affect the inside. And there are ways that we can work through those things to sort of start shifting the energy. And I'm really careful when I talk about this kind of stuff, because I don't want anyone to jump. Like, I don't want you to jump to like anything that's like something was brought on by you, or like something is your fault because of how you are on the inside, or what's going on the outside. You know, like, there's just, for me, it's more of a saying that I use to remind myself that there are things I can do in my external world that can help me with my internal world. And there are things on my internal world that can then start reflecting what I want to see on my external world. Also remembering that there are other humans, there are other energies, there are other things at play that are not our responsibility, that are not our fault. And those are important things to remember as you walk through your journey, that some of these sayings that are out there can be used in a toxic, unhealthy way. We use them, I use them in the most healthiest, balanced way. And it's always going to err on the side of compassion and healing and self-love and love for others, and not in blame or, karma, like, this is why this happened to you. Like, err on the side of compassion, err on the side of healing and things like that. So going to card 23, which is Jupiter. It's on page 62. Let's see. It says Jupiter symbolizes how we expand our world through education, law, philosophy, travel, abundance, and an expansive spirit. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces. Oh, interesting. That is very interesting, because we had Mercury that just moved into Pisces. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces. So we have this beautiful little synchronicity that also is building this connection in the overall message that's coming through. So these are the little like faith moments that I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, I'll settle in. I'll hear a little more. Let's hear what else we have to say, Spirit. So Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces, is a huge gas giant, 2.5 times the volume of all the other planets put together. It takes 12 years to circle the zodiac, spending roughly 1 year in each sign, named for the ruler of all the gods and surrounded by 79 known moons. Jupiter never does anything in small proportions. The action part of this card says, think bigger. This scenario requires you to be expansive and forgiving. Deal with it in a spacious, curious, like curious like a cat, the spacious, curious, fair, and philosophical way. Think globally. Bring in contributions from all around the world. Consider traveling physically or traveling with your senses by listening to music from a less familiar culture or tasting their food. Talk to people who grew up in circumstance foreign to you and get their viewpoint. Diversify your perspective and that of your team to discover the missing pieces needed to make up a larger whole. I have so many things running through as I'm reading this. So, first off, Curious Like a Cat reminds me of a Will Ferrell skit where he impersonates Harry Carey, and he says, "My friends call me Whiskers because I'm curious like a cat." Now, this may mean nothing to you, or it might, but he also says that he's going to reach out for the next episode to Einstein, and someone whispers to him, "Einstein died 42 years ago." And he's like, "Einstein died 42 years ago. What heck, we'll try to get him anyway." Okay. As I was driving, I wasn't writing these notes, but I was recording them into a video because I wanted to make sure I got them, and then I recorded them on here. I saw a number that reminds me of Einstein. If I tried to explain to you why it reminds me of Einstein, it would probably take another 20 minutes. You don't need to know that part. What I want to say is that, like, there may be some synchronicities here that you are meant to hear. I also, when I read the missing pieces, I've been thinking a lot about puzzles. I've been shown a lot of different things in the last week since you ordered this reading that had to do with puzzles. So I don't know if you're someone that used to do puzzles, or if it's just about, that this is part of your journey of piecing the puzzles together so you can see a better picture. It may be that as well. It may be a call to dive deeper into like the logic side of things, looking at situations and things in your life from a mathematical, like what makes sense in a formula for your life. When I think about like Einstein and puzzle pieces, and like being curious, like how do things all fit together? There may be some things that your guides are trying to show you that maybe you're not piecing them together, or you are trying to dismiss them as they're not significant. Maybe you're running through your head like being like, I might be like, crazy to think that that's a synchronicity. I feel encouraged to tell you, like, take the time to look at the things that are going on around you. Take the time to see the bigger picture. Take the time to slow down, step back, and look a little closer to something. Such a weird little caveat there, but we're rolling with it. Like I said, this was going to be a longer one. It's 28 minutes already. I apologize if it was longer than you had expected. So then it says, so diversify your perspective and that of your team to discover the missing pieces needed to make up a larger whole. Engage in abundant optimism. Get the word out through generosity. Give abundantly and goodwill comes back to you. Invest in education, publication, and broadcasting. Just be careful that your generosity is actually helping the recipient, not enabling or burdening them. Ask what would really help. It says Jupiter's energy needs a big room and an audience, but it can overshadow important people in more intimate circumstances. Watch that your expansive capacities not cramp the experimentation of beginners or crowd beloved introverts. Notice where you might overwhelm the people you love and give them room for their more subtle style. If you are the one being so overwhelmed, appreciate your own value, expand in ways that work for you, and let the person with Jupiter energy do their thing. The challenge part of this is Jupiter can bring too much of a good thing or leave people feeling overwhelmed. Watch out for magical thinking and a Pollyanna avoidance of problems. The gift. Give and you shall receive. Jupiter calls you to expand your worldview, so reach out and feel at one with the whole universe. That was a really beautiful card. I can see the connections as to why your guides wanted me to use it. We are working our way down. Okay, we are working our way down. Okay, I'm reminded, like, don't look at these as you shuffle because they're not all meant for us. And I got a little dizzy just with looking at that bottom one. I'm interested to know what it stands for. Let's breathe. They're just going to tell me how many to count. Do I need to shuffle more? I feel no. 12 down. 12 years. Okay. 12-year cycles, Jupiter, 12. 12. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is it in my highest good to see this? Yes, I can. Yes. Okay. I wanted to protect myself. These cards are wildly powerful, and I handle them with care. Okay. Let's see. They've got a way of pronouncing them in here, and I know I'm going to pronounce them correctly. Scribbeth. Scribbeth is the name of this one. It's warming the heart, supporting a healthy path. Stop. Expanding self. Right there. Supporting a healthy path. And we had said that path was important. The idea of the road and the sidewalk were paths. I love how spirit works. Okay. So I'm going to take a look at this real fast so I can capture this energy. Now I'm going to give it over to you. Okay. So go ahead and just focus on this. Take deep breaths as you accept this energy for your highest good with nothing nefarious attached, for your best possible healing at this moment on your path. Something in line with your divine soul path and helping you continue on or towards your highest timeline. It says Scribbeth supports your healing journey and helps to ignite your potential. As you work with it, it offers you safety and sanctuary. Notice your beingness expanding. Embrace the freedom and change the symbol provides. You may find that your intuition becomes clearer after engaging with Scribbeth. Listen to your heart for guidance. Your heart knows what is best for you in all aspects of your life. As you sit with the symbol, ask from your heart, what is in my highest good? Then listen for the answer. Sometimes answers appear in the most mysterious places. Kind of making sense why I talked about the weird Will Ferrell skit and left ears ringing, puzzles, things like that. Page 55. Fives are for change. It says on the card, page 41, that's an interesting thing about this oracle deck is that the page numbers that is on the card don't match the book that I have. But I find it even more interesting about the deck that like something with imperfections can have such power. something with imperfections can have such power. Let's take one more deep breath. If you're ever looking for someone that can help you with deep energy clearing, teaching you how to do that kind of stuff for yourself, I do feel like you would be a great, I want to use the word candidate for that, but person, soul, body complex for that. Yes, I do mentoring. Okay, so we have this last one. It is the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck. Aleister Crowley does have a book that I very much enjoy utilizing as a reference tool, but not a guidebook. I use it as like something that helps me understand things, but not gives me instructions on how to do stuff. I believe that while we can see how somebody else does something, that we are going to feel within ourselves whether that is good for us in this lifetime, with this body, with this mission. So I feel also called to, and I have like such a buzz through me right now, I feel also called to tell you, remind you, inform you, educate you. I'm not sure what the word is there. But to say that just because it works for somebody else doesn't necessarily mean that you're meant to do it. I don't know how many people have gone through so many certifications for so many things like QHHT, hypnosis, Reiki, all sorts of stuff. And I'm not knocking any of them. But sometimes our own way of connecting with our energy is the right way, and we can find ways that help us protect ourselves better and guide us better and learn how to listen to ourselves better, and all of that is wonderful. But sometimes just we're meant to take information as, oh, interesting. Let me put that up on a shelf over there, and if it's for me, I'll grab it off the shelf later. Okay. We are not using the guidebook, I heard. Okay. No guidebook for this. These cards challenge me. These cards are so powerful. They've challenged me so much. There is this mystery card in here too that like it challenges me. All right, Spirit. We still have 3 cards here of tarot for this reading. Please let me know what it is that you would like me to deliver to this individual through this deck. I do ask that you come through with very clear and powerful guidance. I am open to receiving that level of guidance at this time for this individual's highest good. I release all energy and that is not for my highest good to carry with me during this reading, during these cards, anything that has come up during this reading, I release that with an exhale. I breathe it in, transmuting it into more power, into more connection, and into more love. Thank you. Gratitude, 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 love. The Priestess coming out first. This is a major arcana card. I have a lot of pressure happening around my head right now. Third eye, crown chakra. You may be in need of some, I want to say pointed, like energy pointed, focused meditation on opening these chakras more. I believe somewhere in this reading it did talk about like expansion. And I do feel like you're meant to expand your gifts wider, but you need to do so safely with good protection practices more than just candles and smoke and things like that. I do have some resources in my protection folder on TikTok. I don't have those that ability to put a folder that I know of. Probably do actually. Just haven't done it maybe, or haven't thought about it on YouTube. But I believe that you would probably benefit from some more structure, some more wording of energy, so that you can open up your spiritual pathways more. You have all of these gifts, and I know you know that you're incredibly intuitive, and I know that you are incredibly connected to spirit already. It's like a honing of your energy, and my heart chakra is now buzzing here. It's a honing of your energy that spirit would like to have you do. I'm getting this, my left ear just did like a little zing. I'm getting this energy that's putting an emphasis on your ability to journey and visualize, like have visions come in that are very strong, especially during this energy wave of Mercury and Pisces. That's not to say that you won't have strong energy waves, but sometimes we work with some of this energy to open ourselves up during this time. But doing so safely feels incredibly important to highlight for you. And considering one of my like niches is teaching spiritual protection, that it's like a passion of mine, I believe that that is why I'm delivering this to you. That's not to say that you have to work with me on that kind of thing, but to have somebody deliver the importance of that at this level with the passion that I have for it, I feel like that is the most important piece. Okay, how are we going to move this over? So the thing about these cards is I know based on the back of the card whether it's upright or not. So if I flip it this way, it's going to be upright. If I flip it this way, it's going to be in reverse. And your guides know that I know this. And they know that I can see this. So I have to listen because I know what's under, like I know what the potential is underneath here. I don't know what card is underneath here, but I know the potential that's underneath here. So my intuition wants to flip it this way so it would be reverse. But I also feel guided like we're supposed to look at it in the upright as well. Like it's a both thing. So we're going to look at it. It's the Prince of Wands in reverse. What's on this card? On this card, so we think of a prince. The prince is like the knight. So in this case, the princess would be like the page. The prince is the knight. We know that it's the knight because he's also got a chariot that's got a cat. Remember how I said that this deck was like my Freya deck and her chariot is led by cats? Freya may be a very important energy for you to connect with. even if it's just on an archetype level. If you don't believe that Freya existed, that's okay. Looking at the archetype of Freya is enough. I'm not asking you to believe in what I believe. I'm here delivering a message, and I am doing my best to do that on whatever level you feel called to. But if it was me, I would look very deeply into Freya, especially given that I mentioned that. And then we pull this card that has a lion type cat leading or pulling a chariot. So we have like a confirmation that the prince in this is in fact the knight. The knights are moving. They're forward moving. The wands are also forward moving. So we have a double action card. So your guides are asking you to take action on your intuition. They're asking you, your inner self, check this with yourself. Every message someone gives you, check it with your inner self for truth. But I am feeling very called to tell you that like, this is what your soul wants. It wants to be expanded more. It wants to come forward with more power in these chakras. But we need to make sure that we do this in a balanced way that's not top heavy, because that's where people can sometimes topple over. They get too top heavy with their upper chakras and they don't have the stability that they need down here. Now, one thing that I think I know about you is that you have worked really hard also on healing some of these lower chakras with some of the things that you've been through in your life. You already have a really strong heart chakra that I also intuitively know. I'm going to go further than say I think I know. I intuitively know that your heart chakra is very strong, and that is our center. Okay, that is our center chakra. I know we're talking linear here, and that is actually not how chakras work. They are all sorts of like connections and energy fields, and it's really cool. It's really cool. But the way that our human brains look at it, and the often spirit will help us understand it, is through a linear like pole, so that we can kind of go, oh, well, the heart chakra's at the center. Like, yes. So there's a call forward with power, an extreme call to movement. There's also a highlighting on the head of this individual. It's got a lot of sun energy, and I know that at the split we saw the sun, so it's got a lot of fiery sun, bright energy. But there's this highlighting on the person's headdress there, where there's a lot of power coming through on that headdress. This one also has a really extravagant headdress as well on them. So a lot of focus on the head here. Do we have another one for this individual, please? The 7 of discs. It says failure on it. Does not mean you're a failure. There may be a heavy energy in you of a fear of failure, a fear that you're not going to do something right, a need to release past failures, things that you've been through, things that you may at your core blame yourself for as a human, your human core, not your soul core. Your soul knows the difference, but we have to treat both the human and the soul. We cannot just be focused only on the soul and the soul's expansion. And that's one thing that I feel guided to say to you as well. I do want to make sure that I wrap this up here soon. Your personal spirit guides, we each have 2 personal spirit guides. We have lots of guides, lots of ancestors, lots of all sorts of things. But we have 2 personal spirit guides. One that is with you from the moment you take your first breath in this lifetime till the moment that you take your last. And another position that can sometimes switch in and out as we go through our life and need different guides to step in. And what they do is they sign a contract that says, I am here to advocate for the human, with the intention that the best thing for the human is to let their soul expand. but they are there for the human being. And they are watching and they are listening, and they are always going to advocate for your highest good, and take into consideration what you have expressed with your free will that you want. And they will push back on some of the other energies and some of the other messages going, wait, hold on. They made it really clear with their free will that they want this particular thing, or that they feel this particular way. And they'll still advocate for the soul to expand and for you to open up your gifts and to move forward with soul expansion. But they'll also advocate for the part of the human that, hold on, we can't go too fast. We've got to release this stuff. So there may be some major energy of failure across multiple areas. We're talking about little you, mid-size you, adult you, responsibilities that you've had, roles that you've had that you have felt like you have failed in, or that you're afraid to fail in. And so I feel very, very called to have you like sit down and do rituals that release that. Even if it's just writing down, I release this, I release that, I release blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to open the book for this one, but I do. The Hanged Man. This is the Odin card, okay? And I think of Freya and Odin as this like archetypical team. And this is about like delays, obstacles, some things that are like permanently in our, not permanently, but like long time they've been in our way. A long time this energy has been in your way, and it's got to release. It's got to go. It's time. This Hangman is a major arcana card. Okay, it's one of those obstacles that may be sort of impeding a speed bump, a slowdown that you've had to go through because you've got to release this stuff. All right. If I don't see you in a session one-on-one, oh, we got a thumbs up here. If I don't see you in a session on one-on-one, then I wish you so much joy and luck on your journey and abundance on your journey. And thank you for letting me read for you. This, I think, is by far the longest read that I have done for one of these. But it feels like a great use of my time.